Hello, today we discuss a thought experiment which is similar to experiments that have been done on this subject matter. The subject matter is what happens in the double slit experiment. This is kind of a debunking of the mystical nature of uh, diffraction. So I call this experiment the mechanics of diffraction, because most people who do double slit experiments will tell you that that confirms quantum theory. But I still think that we haven't ruled out uh, mechanical mechanically based reasons to why the diffraction takes place, and this is a consideration. Now I try to do my talks freestyling, where I basically talk about a subject without actually doing background research, so that I'm not influenced by hypotheses. Where whenever I do research on a topic, it's um, not to actually look at the hypothesis of the individual who's doing the experiment. When I do research, I try not to understand the subject before I investigate it, so that I can ask a pure question of what is happening without having any preconceived ideas. Yeah, which is, I mean, that's the second um, part of my experiment, and the second hypothesis, which is that prior knowledge of the environment um, on a global scale, that is, affects what consciousness sees. So basically, if you think that light is a wave, um, when it goes through the double slit without you looking there, you would assume that you're going to see a wave-like pattern on the screen. So that's why you see diffraction. Yeah, so your preconceived idea that light was a wave, had wave properties, led your mind, kind of like an optical illusion. Your mind, you know how you see through your blind spot, but if you isolate your blind spot, you're not actually seeing anything there. But when you're looking with both your eyes, it appears as if you're seeing everything, but there's blind spots where you don't see through. So your mind approximates things, and the way it approximates things, it bases it on on unknown variables. So if it knows that a line is going across the screen, when it comes across its blind spot, it just fills in a segment where that line would have been if it had gone through the blind spot. So it assumes that it's going straight through. Um, Now, as for the double slit experiment, that's the second hypothesis. Now back to the first hypothesis, which is a mechanical explanation for the effect. Now we start off with a double slit experiment, but on a global scale. It's a thought experiment. Just imagine a human being who's placed in a box room, and is made to spin him around. Yeah, and then he's put dead center between the two doors. There's two doors in there. Yeah. Then he's told, if you could just walk forward and walk through one of the doors. Yeah, he'll walk forward, but because they're closer together, he'll be able to touch both doors. He'll probably bang his head right in the middle of it. And then he has to make a choice, a conscious choice. But remember, he's blindfolded. So he chooses this. Let's say he chooses this door. So he walks through that door, and then the second instruction will be, after you open the door, choose one door, open it, and walk dead straight forward and touch the wall. So you walk straight forward, touch the wall, and you see a mark on the wall, but you won't see a mark on here. And you can repeat this, and you'll see that there's many people forming, one part of the slit, and others who chose this door will be touching this part of the wall. So, but there will be times where, as is opening the door, accidents happen. It's like that. Sometimes people don't focus as well as others. There's degrees of focus, degree of attention. So not everyone is going to be able to maneuver their way through that door without colliding with the boundaries of it. Now, let's say somebody opens the door, and as he's walking through, his right shoulder clips the edge of the door. Now, this causes him to rotate slightly towards the door on the right hand side. Yeah. This rotation, and remember, now he remembers his second instruction: walk straight forward. He might do a little readjustment, but it will never be exact to take him. So this rotation will cause him to walk forward to hit here. You see what's happening? And you could do this for hours, and you find 7, 8, 9, 10 out of a million people will hit there. Yeah, that's why the mystical part of the double slit always has an extra column of particles, where nobody really can explain where it comes from. But it could come from the fact that a photon collides with the wall. When I say the wall, I mean in terms of photons, maybe the electromagnetic potentials or fields around the photon come very, very close to the electromagnetic field potentials, fields and potentials of the edge of the slit, and this causes a rotation in the photon, and it does that. And if you go through this other door, yeah, and you collide here, you rotate that way. Yeah, and again, you rather hit that or you hit that. So there will be a column here, as you would naturally expect it if there was an interaction between the photon and the slit that it's going through. Obviously, it just barely goes through. If you're a human being and your right hand touches this part of the door, you barely go through, and then you have to say, right, now walk straight. You walk straight, your straight won't be dead straight. It's liable. So after let's say 100,000 individuals go through here, you will see a 3-column pattern, or whatever pattern well, I don't know what pattern it is for a human being anyway. Yeah, so those are mechanical effects, and that's the explanation. Yeah. As for the second hypothesis, I've already described it. You could come here, somebody could put you in here without telling you where you are. But instead of you going through the door, they will play a projector. Let's say you take someone from an undiscovered tribe. They've never seen a projector and light, so they don't know what that's about. So you put them in the room, but you don't look. Yeah, you put them in the room blindfolded. Then you make them face the screen. Just ignore the doors. Make them face the screen. Yeah, and you put a projector so that the projector can project through a slit to the screen. Now they don't know where the light is coming from to hit the screen. They've never known a projector. They'll never associate it with that. So as far as they're concerned, they don't know what to expect in terms of pattern on the screen. My question would be then, would they still see the interference pattern, or would they just see 2 columns if they don't know what they expect to see there? So the act of knowing can be tested. I would draw the scenario, because this scenario was meant for the first hypothesis. I'll draw out the scenario that I mean. But back to the first hypothesis, the mechanics of diffraction could just be collisions, field to field, or potential to potential collisions. They don't have to be physical, because if you physically collided with it, it will be absorbed. But maybe it comes so close to its field that the field of one photon can affect the field of another photon or particle, and that causes rotation and rotation is always predicted because it's always happening on this surface. Yeah, but I suppose it could also hit this surface, so you might see. Yeah. Anyway, so that's my explanation to why the double slit experiment shows an interference pattern. It's just chance occurrence over a long period of time.